My name's Kristin Windsor, and with all my parts of consciousness, we are creating the Dissociative Identity Movement, which strives to evolve humankind through neuroscience and the language of consciousness as we gain a new understanding of mental health, what it means to be human, and where our power lies within the unfolding life experience within each individual human being. We are exploring consciousness, and so we're creating a new way to understand consciousness. The model is called the Miraculous Inner Being Diagram of Consciousness, and it explains the three main layers or levels of consciousness: the unconscious states, the subconscious parts, and our conscious awareness or self state. And through this renewed understanding of what consciousness is, how it develops, how it operates, how it interacts within its own self, how it interacts and experiences the world around it, we can gain a new understanding for mental health, what it is, how to nurture it, how to heal it, and how to reclaim power over it. And so we start by creating an understanding of consciousness. And that, I assume, will take about a year or so. And we'll kind of just explore that in depth. A year or two, and we'll continue expanding and sharing and finding new ways to share things we've discussed. And then from that platform of understanding consciousness with the unconscious state, subconscious parts, and conscious awareness or self state, which is where our personal power lies, then we create healing journey programs that warriors can participate in for free from the safety and comfort of their own homes to transform their experience of mental health. As it exists right now, the system is not offering effective healing, and people are suffering immensely because of it. And I was one of those people. And in just 2 years of quitting the mental health care system, and forging forward with my own discoveries of neuroscience and consciousness through my own explorations of consciousness through meditation and self-hypnosis practices every day for the past 2 years, I have this renewed understanding of where my battles were coming from for the past 17 years. As I've lived with dissociative identity disorder, even though it took over 10 years to accurately diagnose. And so, caught in a system that offered me no hope, and encouraged a path that only harmed me further. The medications I was prescribed severely dysregulated my already dysregulated nervous system without providing any aspects of healing. Recovery felt impossible, and I was in my early 20s believing that I had no life worth living, that I was not a person that could be in this world. And that was devastating on the deepest level of the soul imaginable. And we don't have to live that way. There is much more hope than we are aware of at this present state within where the system worldwide exists right now. And the way the system works is very much an outside in. They look at the symptoms and they attempt to manage the symptoms, and they hope that it helps the inside experience of mental health. And maybe it occasionally does, but on a standardized level, it's not producing healing results. Depression and suicide are on the rise now more than ever. Meanwhile, psychiatric medications are being prescribed more than ever. Clearly, something's not lining up, and the treatment is not effectively treating the problem. With this renewed understanding through the miraculous inner being diagram of consciousness, we create brand new healing modalities. In 2 years' time, I've achieved healing on the deepest level of the soul imaginable. I've transformed my anxiety, insomnia, depression, dissociation. I've reclaimed the fragmented pieces of myself. My memory systems are processed differently, and yet here we are thriving through it all from a healing journey path of our own creation. And if something as severe as DID can be helped through these modalities, I feel extremely confident that mental health battles of a lesser severity from anxiety, depression, generalized anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder, borderline personality disorder, a variety of mental health battles can be effectively addressed through the knowledge and healing that we've gained in just 2 years' time after struggling for over a decade. Insomnia for me began 16 years ago, and only now am I able to get a natural night's sleep that feels good. And that alone has restored so much. But even beyond that, there are so many aspects of life that I am capable of experiencing now that my neurobiology was not allowing me to experience before. My consciousness was suffering beyond my awareness, and I had no idea how to help it. And now I do. And I want nothing more than to share that with the rest of the world. Everyone is worthy of healing. Everyone has hope for healing. And so the dissociative identity movement strives to evolve humankind through neuroscience and the language of consciousness, and with an understanding of everything from neuroscience to neuropsychology, to just a variety of aspects of things that we've studied factually and studied through our own internal explorations of consciousness with over a dozen different persons living inside this singular body. We now have this understanding, and we have the tools, and we have the knowledge, and it's just a matter of time now as we continue to create things to share. And the ultimate goal is 5 years from now, there will be an understanding of consciousness from the inside out for all of humankind, regardless of life specifics. And every type of mental health battle will have some form of freely accessible healing journey program that can be harnessed and mastered from the safety and comfort of your own home. From anxiety and depression to traumatic stress and dissociation, from feeling unfulfilled in life to experiencing a complete fragmentation of self or selves, every aspect of mental health battles or the variety of experiences of consciousness will be effectively addressed through creative healing modalities, healing journey programs that can be applied at home. And so in the next couple of years, we're sharing a lot of that information, and in the next approximately 5 years or so, I foresee this being achieved, where there's this understanding, this in-depth understanding, this factually based in-depth understanding of human consciousness, what it is, how it develops, how it operates from the inside out, how it interacts with the world around us, how it creates the personality that we experience externally, etc., etc., etc. Along with this understanding of how to follow the clues of consciousness, previously labeled as symptoms, following these clues of consciousness to gain a renewed understanding of what's happening internally, and using this understanding to harness personal power and achieve healing like never before through the healing modalities we will freely offer to the public. The dissociative identity movement dreams even bigger. Beyond that, we strive to create virtual reality program concepts that will effectively create tangible healing experiences for a variety of experiences of consciousness, including individuals living with a dissociative identity or a multi-conscious mosaic mind, where the neurophysiology has developed into multiple persons for optimal survival through indescribable pains. From anxiety and depression to dissociation and traumatic stress, the dissociative identity movement strives to revolutionize how we care for our mental health, and in that process evolve humankind through a renewed self-understanding of consciousness from the inside out through neuroscience and the language of consciousness. And I just feel so grateful for this opportunity. I know this is exactly where I'm meant to be. All the little life pieces for the past 18 years or so have truly led to this moment as we launch this nonprofit organization beginning here on Patreon. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited to change the world with you. We are changing the world, healing one state of consciousness at a time. And here on Patreon, we share the behind the scenes of this whole evolution. From personal brainstorm videos where it's the raw, real, just verbal dialogue of my own consciousness as we create these concepts from the ground up, to edited videos of healing journey applications that can help transform your everyday healing journey of life. From creative self-expression to our own personal meditative practices, from our DID mind-body connection case study with Dr. Luka Music, where we explore the neurophysiology of my dissociative identity every week through extensive treatments, adjusting bones to correct aspects of nerves and muscles, and studying its effects on my consciousness and experiences of consciousness and my various parts or states of consciousness from the inside out. There is a variety of beautiful magic shared here on Patreon, and I hope that you will dare to rise up and join me in this evolution revolution. I'm sending you, warriors, the highest love and the deepest light. Namaste, warrior soul friends. The courageous warrior light in me sees and honors the courageous warrior light in you. Thank you for joining us and empowering our mission forward.